In the vast tapestry of prophetic history, there are names that echo across generations, and others that remain veiled, whispered only among the seekers of truth. One such name is Syamun Al Ghozi, a man of faith, courage, and divine mission. Although his story is less known, its wisdom carries an urgent message for the world today. A world battling deception, moral confusion, and false saviors, promising peace while spreading chaos. The life of Syamun Al Ghozi reminds us that truth, no matter how hidden, never dies. Have you ever wondered how truth survives in times of deception? Stay until the end, because this story may reveal signs unfolding today. Before we dive in, what comes to your mind when you hear about hidden prophets or spiritual warriors of truth? Before we begin, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Share this video with your loved ones, because this knowledge can literally change a life. To understand Syamun Al Ghozi, we must travel back to the era after Prophet Isa, peace be upon him. The world was divided between empires, Rome, Persia, and distant lands of mystery, each struggling with the truth brought by the messengers of Allah. Among Isa's followers was a man of wisdom and courage, a traveler between kingdoms, who carried the message of one God to those who had forgotten. A parchment map glows under torchlight, showing the path of prophets across time, from Abraham, to Musa, Moses, to Isa, Jesus, and onward. In the Quran, Allah tells us of a man who came running from the farthest part of the city, calling his people to believe in the messengers. Surah Yasin 36:20. Many scholars link this story to the era of Syamun, or to those inspired by his faith. Individuals who risked everything to defend truth in the face of tyranny. Syamun's mission was clear: to remind a forgetful world that power belongs to Allah alone. His call echoed that of all prophets, La ilaha illa Allah. There is no deity but God. Truth has always been one, La ilaha illa Allah. When others feared kings, Syamun spoke truth to power. Which Quranic story do you think most inspires courage in the face of tyranny? In the heart of a mighty empire ruled by arrogance stood a humble believer, Syamun Al Ghozi. Trained in the wisdom of the prophets, he was not a ruler or warrior, but a man of deep conviction. When the message of Isa, peace be upon him, spread across lands, many twisted it for power, while others sought to silence it entirely. Yet Syamun traveled from city to city, healing the sick, teaching the poor, and reminding hearts that salvation belongs to Allah alone. We see him entering the king's court, silent but radiant with faith. Around him stand scholars and priests loyal to falsehood. The king mocks, demanding miracles. Syamun raises his hands in prayer, and by Allah's will, a blind man sees again. The crowd gasps, yet the tyrant's heart hardens. But miracles alone do not guide those lost in pride, the voice continues. The king ordered his soldiers to arrest him. Beaten, chained, and dragged through the streets, Syamun's lips still whispered, My Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. His faith was unbroken, because truth does not kneel. Scenes of fire and protest fade into present-day footage. Peaceful believers standing before oppression, doctors in war zones saving lives, journalists speaking truth despite danger. Syamun's legacy lives wherever people stand firm for justice, even when silence seems safer. His story is not about one man. It is about every believer who refuses to surrender truth. Faith is not tested in comfort. It's tested when the world turns against you. If you stood before a king today, would your heart still defend the truth? If you were in Syamun's place, how would you respond when truth costs everything? The ancient imagery fades, replaced by today's world. Skyscrapers glowing in digital light, social feeds scrolling endlessly, news flashes of war and protest. The narrator's voice grows reflective yet urgent. Centuries have passed, but the battle Syamun Al Ghozi fought has never ended. The tyrants of our age no longer wear crowns of gold. They rule through deception, manipulation, and fear. The false messiahs of modern times appear not as kings, but as ideologies, corporations, and voices that twist truth for power. Images appear. A journalist exposing corruption, a young woman defending her faith at a university, a doctor tending to victims of war under rubble, an imam comforting refugees in the cold. These are the Syamans of today, ordinary souls standing for divine truth amid chaos. Their courage echoes across borders, reminding us that faith is not a relic of the past. It is a living fire that no empire can extinguish. In a time of disinformation, when truth is rewritten and morality blurred, the spirit of Syamun calls every believer to rise again, to speak, to act, to protect what is sacred. The spirit of Syamun lives in every person who refuses to be silent. Maybe this isn't just history, maybe it's prophecy repeating. Do you see modern examples of people like Syamun, those who risk everything for truth? Share a story or a name that inspires you. Not all tyrants wear crowns, and not all battles are fought in public. Some wars unfold in silence, within the heart of every believer. Syamun Al Ghozi's greatest victory was not over a king but over fear itself. His story reminds us that the real struggle begins when the world demands that we betray what we believe. Visuals shift between historic and modern struggles. Musa, peace be upon him, standing before Pharaoh. Isa, peace be upon him, forgiving those who wronged him. And a modern youth choosing honesty over corruption, prayer over pressure, humility over ego. The Quran tells us that Allah strengthens the hearts of those who rely upon Him. Syamun's courage flowed not from pride but from surrender. He knew that fear dissolves when faith is pure. Every moment of doubt, every test is an invitation to stand where prophets once stood. The candlelight brightens. It becomes the glow of dawn. Each of us faces our own king, temptation, injustice, or the quiet whisper of despair. Yet the lesson of Syamun is eternal. Faith is the light that shatters fear, if only we dare to keep it burning. Every heart has a battlefield. Which side are you feeding? Remember, even alone, you are never truly alone when Allah is with you. What's one fear that holds you back from speaking truth in your own life? The screen fades into twilight. The soft hum of city streets. People moving quietly in acts of kindness unseen. The narrator's voice grows reverent, almost whispering. Syamun Al Ghozi was not the only one chosen to carry the light of truth. Throughout time, Allah has raised hidden servants, men and women who walk among us unknown, whose prayers sustain the world. They are not prophets, yet their hearts reflect the same faith, patience, and mercy. Footage of a volunteer helping flood victims, a teacher guiding refugee children, a mother praying in silence, a doctor treating the wounded without recognition. In the world's noise, their work goes unnoticed. But in the unseen realms, their sincerity is recorded by angels. The Quran tells us that Allah loves the humble who act for His sake alone. These hidden ones, the awliya, are the living echoes of Syamun's mission. Every era has its shamans, those who carry truth without title, who defend goodness without reward. Perhaps the next Syamun is not a man of miracles, but a soul who refuses to abandon compassion no matter how dark the times become. Maybe the next Syamun is alive today. Maybe it's you. Goodness doesn't need applause, it needs persistence. Do you believe hidden saints still walk among us today? Have you ever met someone whose quiet goodness reminded you of divine light? Thunder rumbles over a darkening horizon. The narrator's tone deepens, steady but filled with hope. Every story of a prophet points forward, to a time when truth will return in full light. The mission of Syamun Al Ghozi was not only to defend faith in his era, but to prepare hearts for what is still to come. The Quran tells us that falsehood may rise, but in the end, truth has come and falsehood has perished. Surah Al-Isra, 1781. As the world moves closer to its final trials, deception, injustice, and the rise of false saviors, the example of Syamun becomes a guiding mirror. His faith, his courage, his steadfastness before power are the very traits the believers will need before the return of Isa. Peace be upon him, and the victory of divine justice. A montage blends Quranic calligraphy with scenes of hope. Children memorizing Quran, communities rebuilding, hands raised in prayer. Every act of truth today, every heart that resists corruption, is part of that preparation. Syamun's story teaches us that prophecy is not just history, it's destiny unfolding. The same light he carried will one day fill the earth again. Every stand for truth today prepares the world for Isa's return. Don't wait for a miracle. Be the sign of faith the world needs. How do you think we can prepare ourselves spiritually for the times ahead? The story of Syamun Al Ghozi is not only a chapter in sacred history, it is a mirror held up to every generation. He lived in a world filled with deception and fear, yet chose faith and truth over comfort. His courage whispers across time. Stand firm, even when the world stands against you. Each act of goodness, each moment of patience, continues the legacy of Syamun. The power that guided him still guides you. The power of sincerity, of love for Allah, and of trust. The truth will always prevail. O Allah, make us among those who carry your light as Syamun did, steadfast, humble, unafraid of truth. Let our hearts shine with the same faith that overcame kings. Truth never dies. It only awaits the next believer to carry it forward. Truth is eternal, and you are part of that legacy. Share this message if you believe faith can still change hearts. What lesson from Syamun's story touched your heart the most, and how will you live it this week? Thank you for listening, so please follow my page for more information.